All right, what is going on, everybody? Today's video isn't what I had originally planned, but nonetheless, it needed to be made, and here we are. So my original plan for today was to share with you the installation process of the Borgeson power steering box. Unfortunately, I can't make that video yet because the passenger side's front suspension is still all apart. And in fact, I need to take the driver's side back apart. And so that's what we're gonna cover today, is why the passenger side's apart and why I need to take the driver's side back apart. I mean, it's hard to tell, of course, with the car up on the lift because I'm working on the passenger side, but as you can see over here, the front sway bar is still not connected because no, lower control arm's not there. And so it all has to do with the QA1 adjustable dynamic strut rods. Now, if you've watched my other videos on this topic before, you know I was a little reluctant with these. I don't like having the Heim joint here. And then going through the installation process on the driver's side, I was running into problems getting it to adjust to the point where it wouldn't bind. And the reason why that is because the angles between where it mounts to the K-member and the lower control arm, it's not a straight shot to give you the free range of motion. It's off at a bit of an angle. And as a result, you can only get a very limited amount of travel before you reach the ends of what this Heim joint can do because of the washers that are up against here, as well as the shape of the mount that it goes into. And so I could get pretty close on the driver's side to having the range of motion that I want. Now, granted, the range of motion that I'm looking for out of this is probably excessive, because what I'm looking for is basically to go from where the maximum amount of extension you can get out of the shock at the one extreme, and the other extreme is where the lower control arm bump stop hits the frame rail. And so those are two extremes that you're most likely never going to see in real world application, especially depending on where you have your ride height set on the car. But at the same time, it gives me peace of mind to be able to know that the travel amount of the strut rod is not my limiting factor, but it has to do with the fact that there's either a frame rail in the way or the shock can't extend any further. All right, so when you're installing these into the car, you put them in the K-member and you have them in the vertical orientation. And then when you're going through and then moving the lower control arm up and down through its range of motion, the mount is supposed to rotate a bit and get it to a point where you can go ahead and get your maximum rotation. Well, on the driver's side, when I installed it, it rotated a little bit outwards or counterclockwise in rotation. So I expected on the passenger side, it would rotate clockwise. So that way because it's in a similar fashion. But when I was doing it, it actually rotated the same as the driver's side into the counterclockwise direction. And that just seemed completely counterintuitive to me. And so going through and fighting with it for 20 minutes, I got fed up and I was like, you know what? Even if I get this thing adjusted to the same point of amount of deflection that I get out of the driver's side, I'm still gonna have concerns about it and still gonna be wondering if I'm out driving around on one of these back mountain country roads that I have out here, that I go into a corner too hard and it binds up, breaks the Heim joint, and next thing you know, of course, with my imagination running wild, the Heim joint breaks, the lower control arm breaks, and next thing you know, I'm flipped over in a ditch somewhere. And so of course, I don't wanna have that situation. I don't wanna be worrying about it. So I immediately picked up the phone. Actually, first I talked to my wife, and then I picked up the phone, called Firmfeel, because they have a different type of adjustable strut rod available, and told them the situation and went ahead and ordered their adjustable strut rods. Those should be here in the next couple of days. The difference is it has the mounting point on the K-member side is like the OEM style. And so you'll get a lot more range of motion. Now, of course, it won't be as free moving as this is because you've got a rod going into a bushing, and so it's gonna have a little more resistance. But with the type of driving I'm doing, I'm not that concerned about it. I'm probably not gonna notice the difference between that type of a mount versus this Heim joint mount and the additional reduction in drag for its motion. And so that's what today's video is about. I wanted to give you guys a heads up that yes, even though I haven't even finished putting the car back together and put a single mile on it, I just wasn't confident in these QA1 dynamic strut rods. Now, these have been out for a few years now, and a lot of people have installed them and great success, I'm sure, because I haven't seen anything online on any of the forums, Facebook pages, or anything saying that they're having failures and problems of that nature. Maybe part of the problem is just the way I'm trying to install them. I don't know. I'm going off their instructions, going off of online what I've been able to read. and I'm just not comfortable with them. And I've been an engineer in industry for 15 years now, granted not an automotive engineer, but still mechanical engineering. And so I'm going through and I'm just not gonna be able to sleep at night knowing that this is installed in my car. So I'm not gonna install this one on the passenger side. I gave up, pulled it out. I'm waiting for the new ones from Firmfeel, as I already mentioned. And then once those get here, I'll put the passenger side together, then pull the driver's side apart, swap out the adjustable strut rod, and I'll have a pair of these lying around that I'm not sure what I'll do with. Probably sell them or whatever, because technically they are now used because I have installed them, so I can't exactly return them. But at the same time, I'd rather spend an additional $250 and get the parts that I'm confident in from Firmfeel. And so once those arrive, I'll do a comparison video so you can see actually side by side the differences between the ones from QA1 and the ones from Firmfeel. Hotchkiss also has adjustable strut rods that use a heim joint like the QA1 does, but their mounting interface is a little different. And so based off of the pictures that I've seen, you might be able to get more range of motion out of it when installed compared to the QA1, but I don't know. I haven't seen those actually side by side, so I can't speak to that. But I'm gonna go with my gut, get rid of the heim joints and go with the urethane bushings instead. So I wanna make sure you guys were aware of what I've decided, because I know a lot of you guys out there trust what I do and what I say. And the last word that you got from me was I was running these on the car, and I've decided against it. And I want to let you guys know that I did decide against it and why I've decided against it. If you're out there, you have great luck with these, more power to you. That's awesome. I like hearing that people are having good luck with parts, but at the same time for me, I can't do it. So that's today's video, guys. It's a little bit of a downer, but it also is a bit informative, I hope. So if you like today's video, don't forget to smash that like button. Let me know what you guys think. This way I know for future videos what type of videos you'd like to see me putting out there. If you have any comments or questions, go ahead and put those in the comment section below, because as I always say, I check all the comments, read them all, and try to respond to them all as best as I can. And then of course, if you don't want to miss any of my future videos, like the comparison with the QA1 dynamic strut rods with the ones from Firmfeel, definitely smash that subscribe button if you aren't already subscribed to the channel. It doesn't cost you guys anything, and it allows YouTube to keep you up to date of all of my future uploads. And on that note, guys, I will see you in the next video.